The reason is money is toxic. After 1971, people who work for money are getting poorer because the way your wealth is sucked out of you by the Fed, by the US Treasury, and by our government and our school system is the people that work for money get poorer. The people that save money get poorer. And the people that invest in stocks, bonds, mutual funds, and ETFs, they're temporarily rich. But in a flash, they can lose it all because they don't have an education. We have fake money. The Fed prints as much as they want. And we have fake assets, stocks, bonds, mutual funds, ETFs. I don't touch that stuff. But the average person should. But I don't save money and I use debt to get rich. The higher your financial IQ, you don't need money. So if you need money, you're not using your brain or something, because it doesn't take money to make money. And that's one of the biggest lies they tell you. So since 1973, I've not had to, I use debt. I use my own money. I just borrow money to get rich. So many people want to get rich, but they have horrible teachers. And then they work for fake money. The US dollar is fake. They print trillions of it every month or day. And then you buy these fake assets. I don't touch that stuff. All money today is credit. It doesn't exist. Credit is very simply the power to spend. That's all it is. So when you have a credit card, there's no money in that thing. They've just given you the power to spend. And the moment you spend it, you create debt. And then debt is this contractual agreement that you'll pay it back. Now, the trouble is, most people ain't paying it back. Well, sales equals income. If you can't sell, you have no income. So I said, well, I don't have any income because you can't sell. It's that simple. So what I'm going to say to these guys is my poor dad, he was very disappointed in me because I was a pilot. And he wanted me to get my MBA and then fly for the airlines. And I said, I'm an employee. And then I wanted to become an entrepreneur. So my rich dad says, number one skill of an entrepreneur, you got to sell. If I have real estate, I can borrow as much money as I want. And the more I borrow, the less I pay no taxes.
Right.
So it's not real estate, it's just debt and taxes. Because money became debt or credit in 1971. And the more debt I have, the less tax I pay. It's just, it's the law. And so, people say you can't do that. I say, no, you can't do that, but I can. And that's the difference. So it's not that I love real estate. I just love debt and I don't want to pay taxes legally.
Right.
Trump doesn't pay taxes either. That's why he won't show his tax returns because American people go nuts. Right. I was flying off of Vietnam and Nixon took the dollar off the gold standard. So my co-pilot and I decided we'd go look for gold. We didn't know what gold was. Americans had never seen gold. So we flew behind enemy lines, which proves Marines aren't that bright. And we went to a gold mine to buy gold. And this little Vietnamese woman, I don't think she went to Harvard or anything, but she wouldn't discount the gold. So let's say gold was $50 that day. It was 35 a few months earlier. So it was going to 50. And so I said, I'll give you 40. She says, get out of here, And when I realized something, she was teaching me. She was one of the best teachers I ever had because she was teaching me about money. The same lessons my rich dad was trying to teach me, that money is fake, gold is real. So anyway, we almost got captured that day. But anyway, we sailed, our carrier then sailed to Hong Kong and I bought my first piece of gold. And this was 72. And I paid about $50 for it. And today that Krugerrand, the South African Krugerrand, is worth $1,500 or $1,450 today. So did the Krugerrand get bigger or did the dollar go down? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So ever since that day, I just saved gold and silver. And I call gold and silver God's money and the US dollar fake money or fiat currency. Now there's cryptocurrency, Bitcoin. And that's going to cause, I'm not an expert at Bitcoin because I don't have to be because I don't need money, but it's going to cause havoc because it's going to give the Fed a lot of trouble because a lot of people are shifting to crypto right now. So everybody can make crypto. I don't know what the big deal about it is. You can just produce your own now.
All right. Grand Rising family. Hope you guys are having an amazing day today. It is a beautiful Sunday. It's April 24th. Already gone through April. It's hard to believe that we've really are this far in 2022 already. Like the years just go by so fast. But I'm super grateful to have you guys on this call. Welcome again to Breakfast with Algeron. We're going to be sharing a lot of value for those that see the topic of today. It's called the spiritual tax return. Now, it's tax season, right? Hopefully, most of us have gotten our actual taxes out of the way and done with. But I feel like this topic is very relevant and correlates a lot to the times that we're going through right now, where we're expecting that everything we did a year in the past, a year from now, right? A year ago, we should be seeing all of that time and energy we poured into so many different things pay out. So I want you guys to share this call. We're going to be getting started in the next minute. I'm going to be getting us set up on IG Live. But in the next couple of minutes, next 60 seconds, let anybody you know, or if you're watching this recording, share this with someone and let them know, hey, bro, hey, sis, you need to watch this because he's going to be dropping some gems that's going to really help get the most out of our year. So give us about 60 seconds and we'll get this call started. Grab your notebooks, your pens, grab your morning coffee if you have so. Those that know me know I love my anime. And we'll get this call started in the next 60 seconds, family. Next 60 seconds. In the meantime, though, I want you, whether or not you're on the live call or whether you are watching this recording, I want you to think about the first, at least 3 things that you're grateful for, right? At least 3 things that you are grateful for. I'll go down the list for my own. My list is a little bit longer than 3 because I just can't summarize the things I'm grateful for into 3 things. But I'm grateful for my mom, my dad. I'm most importantly grateful for God, my 2 daughters, Alegria and Amina. I'm grateful for Ile. I'm grateful for my body. I'm grateful for my health, my mind, my life. I'm grateful for the entire Breakfast with Algeron organization. I'm grateful for my mentors, Neno Torres, Jongmin Kim, right? Grateful for Brady, grateful for Eric Chapman. I'm just grateful. I have a lot of mentors, but I'm just super grateful because they don't have to do what they do. They don't have to pour time and energy into me, but they still do. And I'm super grateful for the access to information that I do have. And that's one thing too that I want us to really dive into as well, is understanding your access, which is going to be part of the topic we're going to be going into. So 30 more seconds, guys. 30 more seconds and we'll get this call started. I was terrible at getting IG Live set up and talking at the same time. So I had to take an intermittent break for a minute. So got the light on. Yep. Got the ring light on. Skin's glowing. It's like, nah. But yes, guys, I want you to think about a few things that you are grateful for. And what I also want you to do, right? We're doing something a little bit different, is I want you to send love, right? Now, what do I mean by send love? You can either physically send a text message to somebody or simply think about a certain person in your life, right? Think about a certain person in your life. And I want you to just think about sending them blessings, thinking of a circumstance that they should and need and deserve to be in, right? And I'm talking positive, right? We don't wish anything bad on anybody, but I want you guys to think about someone in your life, right, or someone that you know, and I just want you to send them love. It's called sending mental love, right? Where you just wish somebody the best possible blessing anybody in this world can get, right? And that's called sending love. Or you can send them a text message, right? And just let them know how much you appreciate them, how grateful you are for them, all right? All right, bet. So we're live on IG. Like I said, We're going to send things, a couple of things that we're grateful for, right? And I also want you guys to send some love. Send some love. And for those that are just hopping on IG, what I mean by sending love, you can do one or two things. You can either send a text message to somebody that you wish nothing but blessings for, right? You can wish them the best day. You can say how much you appreciate them, how much how grateful you are for them. But you will be surprised that a simple text message to somebody, just letting them know how much do you appreciate them and the fact that you were thinking about them, you will see how impactful that is. And when you do that on a day-to-day basis, just letting one person know a day how grateful and how appreciative you are of them, you will start to see how much abundance you attract by doing so, right? So we're going to go ahead and get the call started. I don't want to start off too late. All right. So dope. So welcome to Breakfast with Aldra on both YouTube Live and IG Live. Super happy and grateful to be on this call on a Sunday. It's beautiful outside. I'm really excited to be able to take the kids out. We're going to do some gardening, right? Going to be able to just enjoy time outside because this is one of the fewer hot days that we get during this time. What's going on, sis? And I really I'm just vibrating super high. My morning routine is almost done, right? I did finish another chapter in The Compound Effect. I did do my journaling right before getting onto this call. So like I said, the last thing I need to do is just finish my 5 pages for the day and then my 5 pages for the nighttime, including writing my goals down. But I am vibrating so high. This is the 22nd day that I've been consistent with my morning routine. No skips, no misses, everything to the T. So you guys can see, probably even feel my energy. It's why I'm vibrating so high, because I'm practicing what I read, right? I'm practicing the compound effect. And it just feels so good to be back up, to be a lot more free and open. I feel mentally free, spiritually free. And I just want to share all this abundance with each and every single one of you hopping onto this call. So let's get the call started, family, right? So the title of this call, right? I call this the spiritual tax return. And like I said, for my family on a YouTube Live, right? I feel like this is an appropriate time to have this conversation with you guys because it's tax season, right? Like literal tax season. So what better way of giving a topic than to correlate it something that's actually going on in our personal lives as well. But this isn't just a financial or money federal tax return, right? This is the spiritual tax return, because I want you guys to really understand that, we always get excited for for tax season because most people get return on their kids, they get a little extra side money, but the majority of people want to just blow through that money, right? The majority of people just want to spend that, right? And I want to show you guys that, getting physical money isn't always the solution to our problems, right? A lot of us ask for more money, but we fail to realize that more money doesn't create a solution for yourself, right? And that's how you can get out of the rat race, as Robert Kiyosaki was saying on the audio that I was playing for you guys, right? So more money isn't going to be the solution to your financial problems, right? And this isn't going to go into financial topic, right? I'm saying this because I want you to understand that the spiritual aspect, right? The fulfilling sensation you get when you do something you love, or when you get a fulfilling reward out of doing something, that's what the true return is. That's what we really strive for, right? We don't strive for more money. We strive for what more money allows us to do. And feeling good of being able to do stuff, being financially and internally free, right? That's what we all crave for. So it's not the money, it's what money allows us to do. So I'm gonna give you guys a few keys on how to really maximize, right? You can call me your spiritual accountant, right? This is how to maximize the most out of your tax return, right? When I say tax return, I mean spiritual. So one question that everyone must ask themselves when it comes to maximizing their spiritual tax return is, you have to focus on your own growth and personal development. So I want you to think about that, right? What have you been doing towards promoting your own growth, right? Because if you look at it, and when it comes down to real taxes, right? Are we when we're working for somebody, right? And I'm not downplaying a job, right? We all need a job at the end of the day. I'm working a job at the end of the day. But are we also prioritizing our own personal growth and development? You see, we get so caught up, and then guys, don't get me wrong, I'm still learning this along the way with you guys, right? But it's so easy for us to get so caught up in our jobs and our personal problems that we miss out on pouring time to ourselves. We lose the opportunity. We forget about, are we continually developing ourselves to allow ourselves to grow mentally, emotionally, physically, right? Drop a 111 in the chat if you're guilty of not pouring into yourself all the time, right? You help others. You help a friend who's in need. You get on the phone and listen to your girlfriend or your boyfriend crying because they need to vent to somebody, right? You ever feel like you're that person in your friend circle that always has to listen to somebody, and you don't feel as though you don't get that same opportunity? I'll drop a 111 in the chat too, because I did feel that way for a good while. And what the issue is, it causes people to start to resent one another. When you feel like you've done for others and they haven't done for you, you start to feel a little resentment, right? And there's nothing bad about that, right? There's nothing bad. That's a normal feeling. That's a normal reaction, right? But it's because we don't feel fulfilled, but yet we're fulfilling other people. So it's important to make sure that when it comes to focusing on your own personal growth and development, you have to put you first. And most people, right? Most of us will feel like we're being guilted by our so-called friends and family, right? Because we take the time to pour into ourselves. We take the time to isolate, right? We separate in order to elevate ourselves, but people are made out, sometimes are unintentionally make us feel guilty about putting ourselves first. Well, you always do you're always doing you, and you never take time to hang out with us, or you never take time to hear me out, right? Listen, family, you can't help others if you're not helping yourself. So I want y'all to understand that if you're not taking the time to pour into yourself, how can you expect to pour into others? And if those friends, right, those close friends of yours cannot understand, well then, hey, not saying I have to cut you off, but I need to separate myself in order to elevate myself so I can bring you along. Most people don't see the longer picture. They only see the now, right? And that can be from friends and family. Most people won't see your long-term plans. They only see what you're doing now, and they get upset. They get swole, right? They get all bent out of shape over it, right? But they don't understand that we're doing this in the long term for them. My family may not 100% understand what I'm doing, right? But at the end of the day, long term, everything I'm doing right now is for them. I'm putting myself in a tough situation so I can grow and help them out. I'm putting myself in a position where I may not be financially strong enough, but at the end of the day, I'm going to get to that point so I can help my family out financially for them. But sometimes we don't see, sometimes others cannot see the bigger picture. And that's why over 99% of people in the world are living the lives that they did not want for themselves, because they're not playing the long game. They're playing checkers instead of chess, right? I'm going to say that again. Most people are playing the short-term game, meaning that they're playing checkers instead of chess. Now, hopefully everyone has played the game checkers before, right? You just move diagonal, you jump over one piece, right? It's a very short-term game. But when you're playing chess, right, you have to think 6, 7 moves ahead to actually beat your opponent. So you have to not just think about the now, but you have to think more of the long term, right? In 7 moves, where is this game going to go? And if you can't do that, well, it's going to be difficult for you to be able to really succeed in the aspect that you want to, right? And my favorite quote, right? Robert Kiyosaki, right? Best-selling author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad. He said that most people do not mind their own business, right? Now, what does he mean by that? right? And this is still going on to point one. Have you focused on your own growth and personal development? We have to mind our own business. Now, what do I mean by that? Minding your own business doesn't mean, sticking to yourself, not paying attention. That's how we use it, right? What he means by mind your own business is that even though you may be working a job, right? Successful entrepreneurs are focused on their own business, right? They're focusing on their own growth, growing their small business, right? Growing to becoming a strong, independent entrepreneur, right? So you can still work a job, but still you need to make sure that you're pouring into your ideas, your business moves, right? You're still thinking about you. Yes, you're helping someone grow their company or maintain their company, but at the end of the day, you're using that to build your business as well, right? The money you make from that, you're putting a little bit on the side towards investing in opening up your own storefront or building your own website or investing into stocks or crypto or whatever it is that you may want to. But while you're working, you're still pouring into your business piece by piece, right? I want you to think of your job, right? Like this coffee mug, right? I don't have another cup, or otherwise I'd be able to use. I don't have another cup, but think of this as your job, right? And your job, right, or your salary. Let's think of it this way. Think of this cup as your salary, right? Your job is pouring into your cup, right? Right? And every time you pay for an expense or utility bill or your cell phone bill, right? You're drinking out of that like that, right? So your job's pouring coffee into your cup, right? And every time you spend money, right, you're taking a sip out of it. What we fail to do is create that second cup, right? I want you to imagine a second cup in my hand. What we fail to do by not minding our business is all we're doing is just drinking from the coffee cup, right? We're not taking a little bit and pouring it into our smaller cup. We're not minding our own business. What's going on, family? So you have your wage, right? This is your salary, right? Your job, your employer is pouring into this cup. He's pouring into your cup, right? He or she, or whatever the company is. And all we're doing when we aren't minding our own business is we're just drinking out of the coffee cup. Sip, sip. Here goes rent, electricity, gas, daycare, kids' school sneakers, right? We're just constantly drinking from it. But what we're not doing is using that other cup, right? That cup's just sitting there collecting dust and before we take a sip out of our mug, we're not pouring a little bit extra into our business, right? And that's what keeps people trapped in the box. What I'm giving you guys is information coming directly from successful people. I'm in this the same as y'all. I do not come on here to speak like I know everything, to speak like I'm not going through the same process, but I want you guys to really understand that we have the ability to getting out of the box. And what is the box, guys? It's capitalism. A lot of us speak down upon it, but realistically, we do need capitalism, right? Everything in life is outsourcing. You pay the fisherman to catch the fish and provide that in the grocery store. You pay for Ubers instead of paying using your own car. You pay an Uber to get you from A to B, right? Outsourcing is everywhere. And that's what capitalism is. We hire someone or we pay for the convenience of someone doing the labor for us. So we need it in this world. But if you don't know how to get outside of that box, you will forever be in your life, be a consumer. You will always be a consumer in your life and not be able to get outside of the box. That's why entrepreneurship is the key. That's going to be the vehicle towards driving you out. Now, is entrepreneurship for everybody? What do y'all think? Is entrepreneurship for everybody? Drop it in the chat. Do you feel as though everybody in today's world can be an entrepreneur? See, there we go. There's rent. Drop in the chat, yes or no. Do you feel like everyone can be an entrepreneur? Yes. Believe it or not, they can, but it's a choice, right? It is a choice of whether or not you want to stay in the box or not. We are all given a choice, but too many of us take the idea of choice for granted. And that's why we choose, right? Let's be honest, like let's be fully transparent with each other, right? We choose to either get out of the box or stay in the box. Most people who want to live an easy life, who want to live in convenience and comfort, stay in that box for the rest of their life. But people who are willing to get out of their comfort zone, like my sis Daisy said, right? As long as you take the steps and jump out of your comfort zone, you will get out of the box. But at the end of the day, you have the final say so. So that's what it means to truly mind your own business, right? You're not just having your employer pour into your salary, right? This is your salary, right? But if you don't keep that side cup, it doesn't matter how much you pour into it. As long as you're building up to it, you will continually lead up towards getting out of that box. Because when that side cup is full, that's when you're ready. It's like filling up your gas tank, right? This old car is not ready to leave. It's not ready to move until you fill that tank up, right? And as long as you're pouring into that side cup every so often, or every time you get paid, put a little bit aside. Put 10%, put 5%, hell, even put 1%, excuse my French. But do something. Mind your own business. That's key. Number 2, ask yourself, have you served others? Right? Have you served other people? Now, what do you mean by that, Aljon? Have I served other people? Like, what? Listen, in life and in business, you get what you put out there, right? You receive what you give into the world. And they say that in the Bible, right? God loves a cheerful giver. God loves a cheerful giver. What is a cheerful giver? A person who's willing to give without the intent on receiving, right? Someone who's giving with the intent on receiving, right? Oh, if I do this for somebody, they're going to owe me a favor, and I'm going to really capitalize on that favor when they give it back to me. That's not without intent on receiving. They're doing something hoping that they get something back, right? And that's not serving other people. Right? You guys ever have a friend or somebody in your life at one time, you asked them a favor, and then a couple of weeks from then, they asked you and they held it over your head? Drop a 111 in the chat if you know anybody that does that, right? Drop a 111 in the chat if you know somebody who they do a favor for somebody, but then they like to hold that over their head every time they ask them for a favor. Oh yeah, bro, yeah, you remember the time I did that for you, bro? Hey, listen, man, I need to ask a favor back, right? How many of y'all know people like that? Because I do, right? And are they living a life of intent on not receiving anything? No. And that's not how you get that spiritual tax return. Because you're doing things not openly, right? You're doing things with intent. And that's why a lot of people in today's society, right? That's why a lot of business owners fail, right? Just because you open up your own business does not mean you're guaranteed success. There's people in this world who do things, right? Who do things to help others. Yeah, they do it and it helps that person. But at the end of the day, it all comes down to that person still benefiting off of that. There's still profit out of that by helping other people. Right? I've had people come into my life and they say, oh, bro, let me put you on to something, bro. It's going to help you and your family out. Right? But at the end of the day, in the background, they were still benefiting off of helping me. They were still receiving some type of profit by whether it was a referral link or it was, hey, refer this to a friend and, you get this amount of money. Like that's still not giving. That's not still being it's not, sorry guys, I got tongue tied. It's not being a cheerful giver. Because at the end of the day, you're still making profit. And the longer people will do that, right? The longer people will, the longer someone can do that to people, guess what? People will start to catch on. People will start to realize, hey, you know what? He wanted to help me and all, and I appreciate it, but now that I found out he's making money off of this regardless, like now it just doesn't feel as genuine, right? It doesn't feel like that person was coming from a sincere place. They were coming from a place of dollar signs in their eyes. You know, the cartoon, right? So you have to make sure that when you're doing things for others, you're doing it without the expectation on receiving something later down the line, right? And you also need to make sure that in order to serve others, you have to pour value into them, right? For my parents on the call, right? We do that every day. We're pouring value into our children, right? We're showing them how life works, right? If you're a parent, you are a mentor to your kids and to your family. So it's important that we're making sure we're always pouring good value into them, because by pouring bad value, all we're doing is repeating the same generational curse that we grew up in. And the purpose of being a parent, my interpretation of being a parent, is to make sure that my kids live a better life than I did, right? I'm not saying spoil them to spoil them rotten, right? We all want to spoil our kids, but I want to make sure that they live a fulfilling life and have to learn certain things that through me that they don't have to learn the hard way like I did. So it's important to make sure you pour value into others, right? Help them develop, show them how to have a morning routine, show them how to increase their knowledge, increase their intelligence, increase their emotional intelligence, right? And also to call people, right? Call them just to say you were thinking of them. Don't always call to ask for things. Don't always call to see if, hey, can you do me a quick favor, right? Sometimes people can be so shady that they'll only call you when they want something, right? So make sure that, you're coming from a genuine place. And it doesn't matter who sees it or not, right? God sees it. It doesn't matter if your friends and your family, they don't get it and they just keep talking down on what you do and all that other stuff, right? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if your friends say, "Oh, you don't hit me up anymore," and all this other stuff, right? They don't know what you're doing behind the scenes, but God does. So I want you guys to understand that you make sure you pour into other people is like so key, because what you give out, you receive tenfold, right? You receive that back 10 times. So you're giving you're giving 100% of your love to other people, right? If you're giving 100% of your love to other people, guess what? You're going to get 1,000 times. You're going to get 1,000% of that back, right? And it all starts from coming from a good place. And so the last reason, right? The last reason, or I'm sorry, the last way, my bad family, the last way of getting that tax return, right? That spiritual tax return is make sure you're setting weekly, monthly, and quarterly goals. Because in life, it's about what you do, right? Life is performance based. So what you put in is what you get out, like I said in the second point. But you got to make sure that you're hitting your weekly goals, right? Hitting that weekly, monthly quota. If you're not hitting the quota, what makes you think you deserve something back, right? If you're not meeting the expectations, right? If you're not, think about your job. If you're just showing up to work late, you're not getting the job done. You're leaving everything that you start halfway done, and then you leave for the day saying, "Oh, well, it is what it is. I'm gonna get paid anyways," right? That's not how that works. You have to provide results in order to receive, right? The reward doesn't come without action. So if you're not hitting your weekly goals, right? You're not doing your personal development, right? You're not reading, you're not increasing your intelligence, you're not, you're not setting, goals that are going to help you grow, then how do you expect a result out of that? And the reason why I say weekly and monthly is because the weekly should be the smaller things leading up into the monthly goals, which are the bigger things. And then the quarterly goals, right? After you hit your quarterly goal where you do an assessment on yourself, that'll tell you where you're at. That'll let you know if you're on par for that reward. But too many of us, we don't want to put in the time and effort. We don't want to assess ourselves. And then we wonder when it comes to tax season, right? Y'all know what I'm talking about, tax season, right? Not federal taxes, not local or state taxes. I'm talking about the spiritual tax season, right? You wonder why you haven't improved. You did everything right, but did you actually hit your goal? Were you consistent? Did everything you say that you were going to do, you actually did? And I'm here to let you guys know, not to harp or beat anybody down. I don't mean to. I'm not punching on down on anybody. I want you guys to really know, because this is the perfect time to get started with it, right? If you think about the year in quarters, right? We're just wrapping up the first quarter. We finished the first quarter in March, right? April is the beginning of the second quarter of the year, right? Think about basketball or any other sport, right? We still are in the second quarter. There's almost there's 2 more quarters to go. You have time to make the changes you need in your life to still get that tax return, that spiritual tax return for the following year. But if you're not willing to do it long term, right? If you're not willing to play the long game, well, you will forever be in that rat race. You'll forever be stuck in that box. And the purpose of Breakfast with Algernon is to show each and every single one of you how to get out of the box, right? And I don't just want to get out of the box by myself. I want to bring as many people out of the box with me. Because again, what you give out, you get back 10 times. So I'm not doing this, with the anticipation of receiving, the reward, right? Or that return. I'm doing it because it's just going to feel so much better to have my friends, everyone in my circle, the entire Breakfast with Algernon community all out of that box together, where we have our own private island, right? We having a little yacht party in the bay of the island, right? People are enjoying themselves, are smiling, good vibrations. Everyone's happy, right? Everyone's in a place where they no longer have to say, oh, I have to check my schedule or I have to check my finances, right? Wouldn't that be nice where you can actually take people up with you and you're just not at a private island by yourself, right? Unless that's your lifestyle. But for me, I want to be around friends. I want to be around my closest friends and be able to enjoy that atmosphere together. So that's why I'm doing it. That's the purpose behind Breakfast with Algernon. It's not for self gain, right? It's about acquiring as many people with the same mentality, with the same drive as me, and us being able to all make it out of here together, right? Getting out of the box. So those are the 3 most important factors to take in consideration if you want to maximize that spiritual tax return. This is going to be the recap, all right? So the first one was make sure you're focusing on your own growth and personal development. You come first. And this is like a side note, or like if you've been taking notes, right? You want to put this as a sub note. Make sure you're putting God first. Make sure you're always growing that relationship with God first, right? Whatever name you want to address them, but have that relationship with your creator, whoever you may associate that with, right? It could be your mom, your dad, it could be God, it could be Allah, whoever you associate as your creator, right? Build that relationship. Number 2 was making sure that you serve others. Once you've poured into your cup, it is now your responsibility to pour into someone else's, whether you have kids, close friends, younger brothers and sisters, right? Make sure you're pouring into, or even people that are older than you, right? You're never too old to learn. Make sure you're pouring into somebody, right? Because not only is teaching the best teaching is the best way to learn something, but it's also a very fulfilling thing to have when you have poured into other people and you see them grow because you took them to a place they didn't know they can get to. And the last reason was making sure you're setting appropriate goals for yourself and you're hitting them. There is no reward without results. So those are the 3 points I want to get on here and share. I hope you guys got some value, right? We're going to be getting back onto, the schedule after Easter, wanted to really take time to enjoy time with family and stuff like that. But we're going to be back on it next week on Sunday at 10 a.m., guys. I hope you guys got some value off of this call. I love y'all, fam. I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. And I will see you guys next week. April, is it the 31st? That's how you guys know I'm terrible with dates. Terrible with dates. So 24th. So we'll see you guys May 1st on Sunday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Breakfast with Aldron. Have an amazing weekend, family. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. And I will see you guys next week. Peace.